For the first time in history, humanity reached out and touched a star. Not with our hands, of course, but with a small, incredibly brave spacecraft. It flew directly into the outer atmosphere of the Sun and lived to tell the tale. NASA called it touching the Sun. But what does that actually mean? Hello. How do you touch something hot enough to melt any metal in an instant? To understand this incredible feat, we have to start with the enemy itself. The Sun is a giant ball of superheated gas, a nuclear furnace bigger than 1,000,000 Earths. Its visible surface glows at around 5,500 degrees Celsius. That is hot enough to boil and vaporize any material we could ever build with. It hurls out towering loops of plasma and violent bursts of radiation. It also blows a constant storm of charged particles out into space, called the solar wind. That wind can disrupt our satellites, our power grids, and even our radios. Yet, for decades, we barely understood how this solar wind actually works. To truly learn its secrets, we could not just watch from far away. We had to go there. So NASA built a special spacecraft, the Parker Solar Probe. It was named after Eugene Parker, the scientist who first predicted the solar wind. Back in the 1950s, many doubted his bold idea. He turned out to be right. The probe launched in 2018 on a daring mission to touch our star. Its whole design is built around one impossible-sounding challenge. How do you fly toward the Sun without simply burning up on the way? The answer is a remarkable heat shield at the front of the spacecraft. It is a thick disk of special carbon foam, only about 11 centimeters thick. Its front face bakes at over 1,400 degrees Celsius. But just behind it, the instruments sit at close to comfortable room temperature. It works a bit like an umbrella, keeping everything important hidden in its shadow. The probe must always keep that shield aimed perfectly at the Sun to survive. But getting close to the Sun is surprisingly hard. You cannot just aim and fly straight in. Everything launched from Earth is already racing sideways at enormous speed. To fall inward, the probe had to shed some of that speed, again and again. So, it swung past Venus 7 times, using the planet's gravity as a brake. With each pass, it drew a little closer to the Sun, in a tightening spiral. This was not a quick trip. It took years of careful, patient maneuvers. And then, in 2021, it did something no craft had ever done. It flew right into the corona, the Sun's blazing outer atmosphere. The corona is the glowing halo you can see around the Sun during a total eclipse. And it hides one of the strangest mysteries in all of science. The corona is hundreds of times hotter than the surface below it. That makes no sense. It is like getting warmer as you step away from a fire. The surface is thousands of degrees, but the corona reaches millions. For over 70 years, nobody could fully explain why. The only way to solve it was to fly inside and take measurements directly. Scientists even defined an invisible edge where the Sun's atmosphere truly begins. When the probe crossed that edge, that was the real moment we touched the sun. For the first time ever, a human machine was inside a star. Inside, it found the solar wind being born and strange zigzag waves in the plasma. It discovered sudden kinks in the sun's magnetic field, nicknamed switchbacks. Each pass sent home clues that no telescope on Earth could ever gather. And with every orbit, the mission team dared to fly even closer. Then came the boldest dive of all, on Christmas Eve 2024. The probe swooped closer to the sun than any object in human history. It passed just over 6 million kilometers above the blazing surface. That sounds far, but on the scale of the solar system, it was a whisker away. And it was moving at around 690,000 kilometers per hour. That makes it the fastest object human beings have ever built. At that speed, you could cross an entire continent in under a minute. As it made its dive, the probe went silent, hidden behind the sun. For days, the team on Earth had no idea if it had survived the heat. Then, a simple beacon signal arrived. The probe was alive and healthy. The control room erupted. Their impossible machine had survived the impossible. It came back carrying fresh secrets from deep inside our star. So, what did all this daring actually teach us? Quite a lot. The data is helping explain how the corona gets so incredibly hot. It is revealing exactly how the solar wind is born and speeds up. And that helps us predict dangerous solar storms before they hit Earth. Better forecasts protect our satellites, our power grids, and future astronauts. A star that once seemed untouchable is finally giving up its secrets. And it all comes down to one tiny probe, no bigger than a small car. A fragile machine, built by human hands, sent to hug a raging star. And its mission is not over. It still loops the sun, gathering more each time. The next time you feel the sun on your face, remember what we did. We reached across 90 million miles and touched a living star. For a species that began by fearing the dark, that is simply extraordinary. And this is only the beginning of what we will learn about our sun. If you love stories like this, subscribe and keep exploring the universe with us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and keep reaching for the stars.